All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a huge challenge, something that pretty much defines modern life, the constant, never-ending battle for our focus. We're going to be digging into the powerful ideas from Cal Newport's amazing book, Deep Work, to figure out not just why we're so distracted, but how we can actually fight back and reclaim our ability to think.
So let's just kick things off with a question, and I bet this is going to hit close to home for a lot of you. You ever have one of those days? It's just a blur of emails, Slack messages, meetings, notifications. You're exhausted by the end of it. But then you stop and think, what did I actually get done today? And the answer is, not much.
And look, this isn't just you imagining things. It's a real problem baked into modern work. As Matthew Crawford puts it here, the goalposts are often just invisible. We're left feeling anxious and busy, just spinning our wheels, never really sure if we're working on the right things.
So all of this leads us to this really weird, kind of frustrating situation. You could call it the productivity paradox, right? We have more tools, more ways to connect, more data than ever in human history, and yet real, meaningful productivity feels harder and harder to come by.
Okay, but what if there was a way to cut through all that noise? Well, Cal Newport has a name for it, deep work. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when you're completely focused, no distractions, pushing your brain to its absolute limit. This isn't just about trying hard. It's about getting into a state where you create stuff that's truly new and valuable, where you get better at what you do, and you make things that other people can't just easily copy.
And this slide, man, this really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got deep work, the hard, valuable stuff. On the other, shallow work, that endless treadmill of emails and busy work. One builds your career, the other just passes the time. So, you gotta ask yourself, where are you spending most of your day? So, why does this matter so much? Why is this difference between deep and shallow so critical? Well, because in the economy we live in today, the ability to do deep work isn't just some nice little skill to have, it's basically a superpower. Newport says that to really succeed today, you need two things. First, you have to be able to learn complicated stuff fast. And second, you have to be able to produce work that is top-notch in both quality and speed. These two things are what separate the best from the rest.
And this is the real light bulb moment. Deep work isn't what you do after you have these skills. Deep work is the gym where you build them. It's the practice, the training, the exercise that forges these abilities in the first place.
And you see the proof of this everywhere, right? In people who are just crushing it in their fields. Think about Nate Silver, building those incredibly complex models. You can't do that with your email notifications popping up. Or David Heinemeier Hansson, coding the very foundation of websites like Twitter. These breakthroughs didn't happen in between meetings. They happened in deep, focused silence.
And we're not talking about small potatoes here. The value that gets created from this kind of deep focus, it's just staggering. A guy like John Doerr built a fortune of over $3 billion by being able to deeply identify and back companies that were built on the same kind of deep, innovative work. It just goes to show you, the rewards for true focus have never been higher.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, if deep work is so amazing, why isn't everybody doing it all the time? That's a great question. And the simple answer is, we're basically living in the middle of an all-out war on our attention. And there are these two huge cultural forces that are constantly pushing us away from depth.
The first big enemy is this idea of busyness as a proxy for productivity. See, in a lot of office jobs, it's hard to measure what you actually produce. So what do? We fall back on what we can see. Firing off emails, being active on Slack, showing up to meetings. It looks productive. And the second enemy? The cult of the internet. This blind belief that if it's online, it must be good and innovative, even if it's actually just destroying our ability to think.
You know, Newport has this perfect little story that just captures how absurd this has all gotten. He saw a truck for a refrigerated logistics company. I mean, a super complex, old-school business. And on the back, they'd paid who knows how much for a giant sticker that said, "Like us on Facebook." It's just the perfect symbol for how we mindlessly chase online engagement without even asking if it creates any real value.
So here's the good news. This is not a losing battle. Not at all. We can absolutely fight back and win. And Newport gives us a really practical game plan. He lays out 4 simple rules to win this war for our own focus.
So here they are, the 4 big rules. First, make deep work a regular, systematic habit. Second, you have to train your brain to be okay with being bored. Third, get really picky about your digital tools. And fourth, be ruthless about eliminating shallow tasks from your day. Let's just grab one killer tactic from each of these rules to see how it works.
First up, for rule number 1, work deeply, you can try what he calls a grand gesture. This is about making a big commitment to signal to your brain, hey, this is serious. Now, you don't have to be like J.K. Rowling and check into a $1,000 hotel. It could be as simple as going to a library for 3 hours and leaving your phone in the car. The point is the commitment.
Okay, rule number 2, embrace boredom. And this one's tough, I get it. Think of your focus like a muscle. Every time you check your phone just because you have a free second, it's like doing a weak, lazy rep. That muscle gets flabby. To build it, you have to do what Teddy Roosevelt did. He would carve out these short, intense blocks of time and just attack his work with zero distractions. He was training for intensity, not just sitting at a desk for hours.
All right, rule 3 is all about being a craftsman with your tools. Think about it. A master woodworker doesn't just collect every new saw that comes out. They carefully select the few best tools for the job. You need to do the same thing with your apps and social media. Don't ask, does this offer any benefit? Ask, does this tool dramatically improve my ability to do the things that truly matter? If the answer isn't a clear yes, get rid of it.
And finally, rule number 4, drain the shallows. This is about putting a hard stop on your workday. And the secret weapon here is a shutdown ritual. At 5:30 or whatever your time is, you look over your tasks, make a quick plan for tomorrow, and then, and this is the key part, you say out loud, shutdown complete. It sounds silly, but it's a clear signal to your brain that it's time to stop thinking about work, which lets you truly rest and recharge.
So you see how all these rules, they're not just separate tricks. They all build up to something way bigger. This isn't just about getting more done at your job. This is about reclaiming your mind and really the quality of your entire life.
You know, the famous psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who studied flow, found the exact same thing. He discovered that the best moments in our lives usually happen when we're completely absorbed in a difficult challenge. A life of deep work isn't boring. It's actually where you find the most meaning and satisfaction.
And that right there, that's really the heart of it all. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Whatever you pay attention to is what your life becomes. If you spend your life jumping from one distraction to the next, you're building a shallow life. But if you choose to focus deeply, you build a life of substance.
So, at the end of the day, being able to concentrate means you get to be the architect of your own life. Cal Newport has given us the blueprint. The only question left is the one you have to answer for yourself. What will you build?